Are you looking for a clean, green, biodegradable, and safe way to clean and degrease your piece of furniture and strip your piece of furniture? Well, today that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about GreenEZ, and we're going to be bringing you a previously recorded live from Wise Owl Paint's Facebook page. So if you're not already on their Facebook page, you should go check it out. Make sure you check out the videos tab for all things live, and check the events tab for all things you'll find for all the up and coming live events we have coming. But for now, if you're looking for something green, something safer to both clean and strip your piece of furniture, stay tuned. So tonight is gonna be, if you've been following along, Wise Owl is a green, eco-friendly company, period, end of story. It's a part of how we roll, how we do business, from the paints to everything. So tonight we're going to talk about our stripper and our degreaser, which is called our finishing cleaner. So that's what we're going to talk through. I have examples. I'm going to show you and all kinds of good stuff, actual sampling of how these things work. That way it's not just me giving you the infomercial. I'm going to have to give you some technical jargon just because I really feel like that is information people will want to know if you don't already know it. And then I'm going to show you how it works. So we're going to work both angles of things tonight. So if you're brand new to Wise Owl Paint, my name is Mark DeReamer. I am the artist behind Refurbished Gentlemen and also your creative director for Wise Owl Paint. And that means that every Thursday night I hop on here and I teach, I share, I do all the things that is Wise Owl. And right now there's this really nutty craze of people using oven cleaner to strip finishes, and that's some scary stuff, folks. I'm not going to get into all the reasons why, but at the end of the day, it's just not safe. Not at all. I could list, I mean seriously could list a whole range of reasons why it's not safe. Agree, disagree, I'm just telling you from my perspective, what I know about the science. It's not safe, so please don't do it. So if you want an alternative that is safe and is green, it is eco-friendly, it is biodegradable, we have an option for you. And I know the biggest thing with that though is you're like, okay, well, do the products work? Well, it's tricky in a 30-minute window about what I'm trying to do the live to show you how a stripper works. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some stripper on. And even in that short period of time, our green eco-friendly stripper is going to show you how well it works. So what I'm going to pour that on real quick, and then we're going to get talking about specifics of, I'm going to show you some example this shoulder, specifics of the degreaser, our finishing cleaner. And then we're gonna, towards the end, we're gonna show you how well that stripper works. So you can actually see for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it could be green and safe and all that kind of stuff, but if it doesn't work, and I know there's some out there that say they're green and all that kind of stuff, but they don't really work. So that's painful. So, you know, it's like the pros and cons, especially for this topic, the cleaning, degreasing, stripping topic. So it needs to work. So what I'm gonna do is I actually have this sample board. You can see I've already been playing with it a little bit. This has been, just so you know, this has been painted several layers. You can kind of see this really cool clouded finish. It's been primed, painted a couple different paints over the top, and then varnished over top of that. So that's what we're dealing with. So it's not just like one coat of paint and I'm doing some trick photography on you guys. That's what we have. So primer, multiple colors of paint, varnish. And just to even more put the point home, this is a metal scraper. Varnish is not going anywhere. This is our varnish, how good our varnish is, by the way. Not going anywhere. Scraper's on. This side was the side that I tested our stripper on earlier, and you can see how beautiful it looks. I'll get into more specifics of that here in a second, but I just wanted to show you, okay? This was a sample board I use when I teach finishes that I do. That's what we're dealing with, and we're gonna put the stripper on. So I'm just gonna do that real quick, and then we'll get into specifics because I wanted to have time in this 30-minute window to be able to do this. So first and foremost, I have the newer bottle, looks like this. I got one of the older bottles I'm shaking right now, but it's our GreenEZ Strip and Clean. First and foremost, you want to shake it. So I'm going to shake it up real good, make sure I got it. And application wise, you can use a chip brush. You can actually use a disposable 3/8 inch roller, depending on how you want to do it. All I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to pour some on. I'm not going to get too terribly specific about it, just because, again, I just want to get it on here. So I'm just going to kind of flatten it out a little bit as best I can and just let it sit. I'm not even going to try to brush it in or anything like that. We're just going to kind of get it down in there. And I'm just going to let it sit while I talk to you guys about what it is, what it does, and how safe it is to actually use, okay? So that's all I did. I just put a teeny tiny little thin coat on there. All right, let's see. Make sure it's not going anywhere on me. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave that on there. I'm not gonna touch it. And it normally is gonna take hours, but we're gonna go ahead and leave it on for minutes because it's only gonna be about 30-minute live, and we'll see what happens at the end. You're gonna be impressed, I promise. So I'm gonna read the technical company line thing because I really just wanna hit that first. So I'm gonna read this and then we're gonna go down the points that I wanna hit about it being safe and all that kind of stuff. So GreenEZ Strip and Clean Furniture Stripper is a heavy duty yet non-hazardous, non-caustic, which is important, environmentally safe stripping solution formulated using soybean-based ingredients. So that's where you get the biodegradable part. It is designed to remove adhesives to include acrylics, paints, urethanes, varnish, epoxies, and related coatings from wood and metals. Not plastics, wood and metals. Just make sure we got that part clear. So it's composed to dry slowly, which allows it to remove multiple layers of coatings at one application. So that's like the main technical jargon. I just wanted to read that off so you guys can understand like the main overarching, what it is, what it's made of, and what it does. At the end of the day, it's safer. So the composition is a soy-based formulation. It has no methylene chloride or glycol ether components. What does that mean? I don't know the technical specifics of, but I can tell you what that means for me in my shop without ventilation, no windows, everything's closed off right now, is there's zero smell. And when I say zero, that's a tough one to really swallow. Like, do you really believe that? Because even the green ones that are out there, I tried one time. It was green and it stunk up the whole house. It was ridiculous. It was like headache heaven, really bad. So yeah, this is not that. So that's the first thing, right? It contains no highly caustic compounds, minimizing potential health hazards. So you're not breathing in anything. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning. The oven cleaner is highly caustic, meaning you're gonna breathe in something, it's gonna get in your lungs and it's gonna cause problems. Whether it caused problems that day or 10 years down the road, that's one of those things about having low VOC, zero VOC products, because it might not hurt you right at the moment, although headaches and stuff like that might. It's later on down the road of constant use, over and over and over and over, which is why, an oven cleaner you use very rarely, if at all, if you need to, and definitely don't use it to strip furniture. Yeah, some whole nother subject. It's solvent-free formulation, and that again hits on that minimal odor part. So you're not gonna have the odor. I'm sitting here, I'm in my garage, no ventilation, no problem. And it's formulated from that soy-based formula, so it's biodegradable, so it's also eco-friendly. So you're not having chemicals to figure out, okay, now how do I dispose of this stuff after I've, ripped through layers of paint with this chemical stuff? What do I do with it? And if you have one of those big elaborate setups, I have friends that are in that whole restoration world, and they have this whole really huge, amazing thing that sends the chemicals through and all that kind of stuff. That's great. But your maybe average DIYer is not gonna have a big setup like that. So with something like this, you're not gonna have to stress or worry or be concerned about throwing out, you know, what we're gonna end up with here in a little bit, because it's biodegradable based on how it's made, which again is gonna trip you out, because you're gonna be like, oh wow, holy cow, this is actually working, and it's all those things he just said. So using it. So the biggest thing is you're gonna wanna get at least 1/8 of an inch layer. So how you can do that is with a chip brush, which is usually how I'll get it on, or a 3/8 inch roller if you have to do vertical edges. And one of the cool things about the vertical edges is because of the way it's made, it's gummy enough, but not too gummy, that you can actually do vertical surfaces where it'll sit and stay and do its thing as it needs to. So, and how it says here is it's semi-gel viscosity allows application to vertical surfaces with minimal runoff and waste. Basically what I just said, but in more technical terms. So basically you can roll on the sides of things and not have to worry about it just sliding right off like a watery style stripper would, right? So you can paint it on, roll it on, whichever, however. And then the other thing, so some of the ones I've used in the past, and I have videos on I've used in the past before this was brought to me, is this is more of a watery consistency, watery jelly consistency, right? So it still will stick to the side based on the jelly consistency of it, but the gumminess. So I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. So when you use some of the green strippers, once it starts to dry and peel up the paint, it gets really gummy and sticky and gross, and it's a pain, absolute monster pain to clean when you're done. And this does not do that. It maintains that more water gel consistency from the time you put it on through the time, until it actually dries, that is. So that's one of those things as far as how it goes on. You're not gonna have to worry about when you go to scrape it off that it's gluey, I guess, sticky, gluey, gummy, whatever the word is. But the other great part is once you scrape it off, you know, it'll probably have a little bit of residue left behind. Our finishing cleaner is made specifically to work in conjunction with the stripper to clear off that last little bit. So that'll be my transition, right? There's a good transition from our stripper, and give that time to do its thing, into our finishing cleaner. So we have the stripper. So let's say you're stripping a surface, and then you get to the end, you scrape everything off, and you still got that little thin layer of what's left. You need to clean it up. Well, there's other chemically based things that you can use to clean that up, degreasers, etc., or you can have our finishing cleaner, which is another environmentally friendly, safe product that you can use, and it comes in a concentrated formula. So it comes in this little guy, let's see right here, like this, and it's called finishing cleaner. You see my finishing cleaner, because I have one of the old stickers on there, and I'm a dork, so I had to write it on there. So it comes in a concentrated formula, right? So when you get it, you can dilute it up to about 8 parts this water. I do 4 or 5. I want it a little bit stronger, because that's the other added bonus to this, is you can actually use it as a stripper as well. And I'm gonna show you a really great example of that and how I go about doing that if I was wanting to use this to peel off some of that stain. Now, it's not gonna work as well with layers of paint, but with the stain, like the stain surface over here, I'm gonna show you. I have this kind of little hidden gem right here I did earlier that I wanna show you just how strong this stuff is. And again, it's eco-friendly, non-toxic, biodegradable, green, clean, safe to use. Same as our stripper, but you're gonna get these amazing effects right? So that's at the tail end of your stripping. But the main use of our finishing cleaner is to prep pieces. So I'm a huge proponent of proper prep. So clean, rinse, scuff, rinse, prime, paint. That's my steps. That's how I teach. So your first step is clean. So you need a really great degreaser. So this is called a finishing cleaner, is the name of it, but it is exactly that. It's a degreaser. It's gonna go on, it's gonna just tear through whatever kind of oils or grease or old pledge or whatever's in that wood, and it's just gonna pull it right off. With eco-friendly and all, it's still gonna, I don't know how they do it, whoever made these is smarter than I am, but I'm actually gonna do a sample here for you where all I'm gonna do is spray these. I'm not gonna touch it, I'm not gonna wipe anything off, I'm just gonna spray it, and I put a blue shop towel down below so you can see the dirt and grime just drip off of it. So we're gonna do that real quick, and I'll get more into this here in a second. So I have this, it's probably 5 to 1-ish, somewhere in that range. Just kind of eyeballed it earlier today. So we're just gonna spray this on. And this is all I'm gonna do. Just gonna spray this on here. That's good. Now a little more. All right. So we're gonna let that sit for a second, and then I'm gonna pull that blue shop towel over here, and you're gonna see just from that, just without even touching it, it's already gonna start to have some of the dirt and the grime drip, and then I'm actually gonna wipe it with the shop towel, and it's gonna look like this thing right here in a second. So that is actually what you'd want to use as your very first step for cleaning a piece, prepping a piece to paint. So we have an amazing stripper, eco-friendly. We have an amazing degreaser, eco-friendly. So you're gonna be able to use that, clean, ensure you rinse with water. I have a separate bottle I'll go back through after I'm done with these tonight, and I'll just rinse off whatever residue's left, and then prime, and then paint, and you're good to go. So those are our two things that we have, and you put those two together and it makes some amazing stuff. Gives you two options that are clean, that are not oven cleaner, that will allow you to strip paint and actually strip finishes. So that's when we're gonna get into this guy right here in a second. So just from me spraying, I'm gonna bring this over here. Just from me spraying alone, it's already dripping off whatever oils or pledge or whatever was on this, because it's an older piece, and you can see it's already dripping off the dirt. And I haven't touched it, haven't wiped it, haven't done anything to it, right? So now if I take, okay, I'm gonna take the shop towel. Now I'm gonna take the shop towel, right? And I'm just gonna wipe. Oh, hey, let me walk over here. So I'm just gonna wipe. And normally what I would do is, there you go, is I would use a microfiber lint-free cloth. There you go, let's just do that for now. Okay, so you can see, dirty, gross, paint, primer, nothing is going to stick to that. So you want to make sure you properly prep your pieces, okay? Ta-da. And that was just really quick. But normally what I'll do is I'll use a microfiber lint-free cloth, and I have a double-sided bucket thing I have. It'll have hot water in both, and I'll rinse it off every so often in one side then the other side, and that one side will end up being just totally brown and gross by the time I'm done. Because if you just use a shop towel, you're gonna go through some shop towels pretty quick. But if you rinse, you can continue to use that microfiber lint-free cloth, and it seems to really pull and grab at the dirt and stuff like that a little bit better. So that's another way, just make it a little bit easier. And then I have another little scrubby brush thing that I'll break out every once in a while. If I have like edges and corners I need to get down into, just get a plastic bristle brush, spray, scrub, get your microfiber lint-free cloth, wipe it, take that as you go through drawer sections at a time, rinse it off, come back. And that's how I do that. Just makes it, like I said, a little bit more where it's getting in there and getting what it needs to do out of the sections with that microfiber lint-free cloth. Okay, so I said you can strip the surface with just the finishing cleaner, right? So this was my mix. So it's diluted, so it's gonna clean. Like I don't wanna peel it back. I want the actual bottle to go a little farther too, and I really don't need it to pull it all the way back. So I diluted it. But if I wanted to, and I'm just gonna throw a glove on for this because it's gonna be a little bit messy. If I wanted to, I could go straight out of the bottle with steel wool. If you've never seen this trick before, this is a great trick if you're trying to pull back a stained wood finish without going through all the stripping process, and you're okay with doing a little bit of scrubbing. So get you some steel wool. This is a 40 grade. I don't know what that means, y'all. I really don't. And then you take that, okay, and you take it straight from the bottle. So I'm just gonna pour it into my steel wool, and I'm just gonna scrub, like scrubbing the wood. And it not only is it gonna clean, but it's gonna start to peel back that stain. So you see how it's this orange color right now? Well, that's kind of what's here. You're gonna see the end result. I'm gonna show you what it looks like using this method. If you want to have another way to strip a piece down to wood that's just gonna be, you know, like a finish, you know, like a stained finish. This is another really great little hack, little whatever you want to call it, way to do that with our finishing cleaner. But you're gonna want to go straight from the bottle because it's gonna be a little bit more concentrated. It's gonna be quite a bit stronger. So I'm gonna walk over here. We're gonna scrub this thing real quick. I'm gonna show you. It's still gonna be wet, so it's gonna look dark. So that's why I already have one set up for you guys to show you the end result after it dried from one side to the other. Exactly what a dramatic difference it made just from steel wool, finishing cleaner, and how you can strip that stain back. So check this out. So I'm just gonna pour it into my steel wool like that, and I'm just gonna rub. And I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it, so I'll probably pull the drawer over there when I'm done. But I'm just basically just letting the steel wool do its work. I'm not really pressing too terribly hard. And you can already see, hopefully you can see that, starting to pull that right back. And again, it's wet. That was really super quick. You can see what it's pulling off of there. I'm gonna bring this over here closer to the camera. So you can see how that's already, they got a little line there from where there's separation where I stopped, right? So it's already starting to pull it back to, and you can imagine if I did a little bit longer. I mean, that was like, what, 15 seconds, right? And then it's a little darker too because it's wet, right? So if you have like, you know, the 3 top drawer thing that people are doing, it's really popular to get wood with a one color painted finish right now. So if you're looking to do that, you don't want to go through all the stripping process. You don't have a big powerful sander. Get you some steel wool, our finishing cleaner, and just do a little scrubbing on just those drawers. Then when you're done, take, you know, sand it down, well, rinse it first, you know, sand it nice, however you want it. I mean, you'll see what it's gonna look like here in a second. Salve it, get some salve, and then you're done. So quick, easy, like little hack to allow you to be able to get down to more of the raw wood look. And this is an older piece, but check that out. Cool, right? So I did that on this guy right here earlier today. I put it in front of the fan, let it dry, so I can show you what it actually looks like. Because you can see, you can definitely tell the difference here, but I did it really, really quick, and it's not dry. Once it dries, you're gonna see the difference. So check this out. Ta-da! Check that out. This is legit, just steel wool, finishing cleaner, no sanding. I did no sanding at all yet on this. Obviously, I'll want to sand it smooth, but look at that difference. So if you had, again, a couple of drawers, top drawers you're doing of a dresser, a couple you want, or even a whole piece for that matter, depending on, you know, what you're trying to do. You're trying to bring a piece all the way back to the wood, this side. This is just another great hack option thing you could do that's safe. Safe, y'all, safe. Don't use oven cleaner. Please don't use oven cleaner. Safe, right? So this is what it looks like straight. Okay? I mean, look at that. That's no sanding. I did not touch it, I promise. I cleaned it or scrubbed it with the steel wool and our finishing cleaner and nothing else. So even, I know I'm gonna sand it a little bit, you know, because just is what you'll do with raw wood. So I'm gonna sand it down just a little bit, maybe get, you know, just a little 320 or 220 or something like that, and then salve, and then you'll be done. Like, I mean, the salve will bring it back to life. So it's a little bit like dry looking right now. You put some salve on that, bring it back to life, or you can stain it whatever color you want to stain it. And you can use our glazes to stain, or you can find a stain that you want to stain with, or you can use our furniture tonic to top coat it. I mean, we got all kinds of options at Wiseall. All safe stuff too. But see that? Again, just the furniture finishing cleaner, straight out of the bottle, steel wool, and that's what you get. It ripped through whatever old varnish was on there, and the stain took it down to the wood. No sanding. Boom. So, and safe, and eco-friendly, and biodegradable, and all those things. So I don't have to worry about throwing those away or hurting the environment or any of that kind of stuff. That tripped me out. I'm not gonna lie, because I had not done that. I knew the technique and the hack, tip, trick, whatever you want to call it, but I had never done it with our finishing cleaner until I was prepping for this video. And I was like, you know what? It'd be cool if they could actually see it, because like what I have over here is still wet. I had to do it real quick because I only have so much time on the live. So I knew it wasn't gonna be as dramatic as seeing that. That's dramatic. And again, teaching, you know, safer ways to do things, but also like, if you're not a big baller, when I started, I was painting in my living room, and I had like a brush and a couple quarts of paint. I didn't have, you know, didn't have the money to go buy a big fancy sanding system, or, you know, all the extra little tools and stuff until I built my business up. So if you're starting from scratch and you're trying to do some of these cool things that people are doing now, like stripping down to the wood and salving it, here, just another little tip, another little way you can utilize the products that we have at Wiseall to do some of these things, and know you're gonna be safer doing it. You're not gonna hurt the wood. Both the stripper and the finishing cleaner are made to not do that. They're not gonna hurt the wood. It's not gonna ruin the wood. The only thing I would say is when you do the rinsing process. So I'm gonna rinse this, right? Once you get it down to the bare wood, especially if you have veneers, be careful rinsing with water. If you use too much water and let the water sit for too long, you have an opportunity for the grain to swell, and you'll have grain raising or just swelling, which could in some cases ruin, especially a veneer, because once it swells, there's no fixing it, and then you know you can't sand through veneer. So just my one cautionary tale, take it from somebody who's done it before. You know, when you get down to the raw wood, when you're rinsing, rinse quickly and get it off. Don't use excessive amounts of water, and don't let that water sit for very long, especially on veneer. So if you're doing a top, rinse that bad boy off, wipe it clean really quick once you get to that rinse step. And you don't have to worry about any of the grain raising or the swelling. The swelling is the worst part, because once it swells, especially that veneer, there's just no fixing it. It's just gonna be a messed up spot. So just a little tip and trick on that. So let's see, how long have we been on here? I think we've been on here long enough. You guys wanna see me strip this thing, right? I think it's been long enough. So to be technical, okay, so the stripper, 3 to 4 hours normally. It will probably stay wet that entire time if you do the 3 to 4 hour thing. It's one of those where the longer it sits, the more it's gonna have time to do its thing. So if you got like 9 layers of paint, don't try to scratch it off 20 minutes later like I'm about to do. It will work, but it'll work better the longer you let it sit. If you have a really troublesome piece, you can let it sit overnight. If you've watched any of my older furniture stripping videos, you can use the plastic wrap trick. And if you've never heard of that before, it's basically where you have something that you know will dry if the air gets to it, which this will over time. If you stop the air from getting to it, it will stay wet. If it stays wet, it stays active. If it stays active, it keeps doing its job. So put some plastic wrap, just straight plastic wrap from, don't tell my wife, from the kitchen, and just stick it on the top, and it stop the air from getting to it, and it'll stay wet longer. And it's just another little hack, little trick, something I've been using for years. And you can do that with this if you want to. If you want to make sure it doesn't get like, dry any faster than you want. So if you think it's an overnight deal, like I'll do one at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, wrap it, come back the next morning and peel it off if I think it's going to be a trouble piece. But normally 3 to 4 hours is all you really need to do. So I think we're going to scratch this thing. What do you think? You guys want me to do that? Okay, so metal scraper. Don't recommend using a metal scraper unless you're very careful. Another little tip, pro tip, the wood will be in a compromised position. Let's put it that way, because it's gonna be, if you're putting stripper on it, it's gonna be softer. You could dig into the wood and ruin a finish with these sharper pointer edges, okay? So just be careful if you're gonna use a metal scraper. Go flat, go even, take your time. Don't be in a rush. Again, learn from my mistakes. I have done that before. I've got all happy and like, scratch, and left a big dig in the wood. So just be careful. If you're gonna use metal, it's the one I have, but plastic would probably be better, just depending on what you have. All right. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move you guys over here and get you a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing here. Let's see how much closer down I can get you. Here. All right, there we go. That works. What's up? All right, you ready for this? Okay. This is live. So, no camera tricks. It's been sitting here this whole time. It's only been, remember, it's supposed to be 3 to 4 hours. It's been, I don't know, 20 minutes. How long have I been on here? Okay, here we go. What? Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. Just like that. And I'm not pushing hard. That's been, what, 20 minutes? And it came off like that. And again, this was multiple coats of paint. Wait, no, primer, multiple coats of paint, varnish. And if you've used our varnish, this is rock solid. And if you weren't here at the beginning, I was scratching it with this metal thing and it was not moving, not doing anything. And this is what you get after, I don't remember, 20 minutes, whatever it's been. And you can see it's still like, it's not all gummy. It's still more of that soft, watery gel kind of consistency. It's not gumming up. The only parts that are gummed up pieces is the big chunks of paint that came off all at one time. Look at that. And again, I can't say it enough. Safe to use. No highly caustic compounds in this stuff. Solvent free, so you're not going to have a smell. Like, this is right up in my face and it does not smell. Okay. And again, this is 20 minutes. You're supposed to do 3 to 4 hours, and this is what it was able to do using a green, clean, safe to use, biodegradable at that, stripper. 2 coats of paint, primer, varnish, went through it almost like butter. I mean, for 20 minutes, it's pretty darn good. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's very, like I said, it's not clumping up. It's a watery gel kind of consistency, and it's not going to get all gummy. So I guess that's the other part. If you're anything like me, you've done this before, and you've used those kinds before where it gets all gummy and gross, and when you go to clean it, it's a hot mess to clean. This is not going to be that. And then again, our finishing cleaner was made specifically to clean up the mess at the end. So what mess there is left, we already have shown can strip through some stuff, right? So if we get to the very end, it's kind of why I showed the whole steel wool trick. If you're following along here, right? is because if you get to the end, right, and there's still a little bit either of residue or even a little bit of what, you know, paint spots, like if you were in a hurry, you didn't wait 3 to 4 hours like I just did, I can literally use the finishing cleaner and some steel wool to not only rinse off the residue, but also get off whatever little parts are left. So you're basically knocking out 2 things in one. And then once you get done with your finishing cleaner, obviously you're gonna wanna rinse it and, you know, get it back to the raw wood or whatever it is that you're trying to do, however far back you're trying to get it. But that's that, y'all. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see, I'll put you back where I had you here. There we go. So let's see here, pull you back down. There, all right, cool. So that's what we got. And you can see, I mean, it's still just working, doing its thing. And again, if you wait 3 to 4 hours, you're gonna get better results. Obviously, that's the recommended 3 to 4 hours. You can do it overnight. If you do it overnight, I highly recommend putting some plastic wrap on it. If you have a really trouble piece, like it, you know, it's got that old school latex from back in the day and 9 layers of it, you may need a second deal of it. Like you get all the way through it and you're still, I mean, I've had those pieces before. You can do a second application. So it just depends. I've not used this. I've used other green stuff that took 2 applications. I'm gonna venture a guess this is not gonna need that if you leave it on for the 3 to 4 hours or longer. Because again, that was primer, multiple coats of paint, and our varnish. And our varnish is like hardcore. So if you've not used it before. So those are 2 things. That was what I wanted to talk about tonight. Our strip and clean stripper. Looks like this, in this little bottle like this guy, for our finishing cleaner and our strip and clean stripper. But again, I've been seeing a lot with that oven cleaner stuff, y'all. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please be safe. You have no idea what A, that's doing to you, B, what's doing to the wood, especially if you're a professional. What, you know, you're gonna send that off to somebody that paid for you to do that work, and who knows what's in that wood after you sprayed that stuff all over it. So please don't do that. If you're just hopped on, I went through a lot of technical stuff at the beginning that really just talked through the safety aspect. That's our #1 thing. One of the things that drew me to Wiseall from the very beginning when I talked to Karen was the eco-friendly, safer to use, I have sinus problems thing. And again, I've been in here for however long I've been talking to you, 30 minutes. There is no smell from a stripper that did that. No smell. I'm in my garage, no windows. Trust me, my wife would be out here yelling at me, shutting the door, if there was any kind of smell sneaking in that house. So all those things, no fumes. Don't have to worry about your lungs. You don't have to worry about just the piece in general. Like, you know, you're a professional, you want to put out a piece that's beautiful, but you also want to not have to worry about, you know, that piece getting into somebody's house, you know, and it harming those people. And it's just another, I don't know, one of those things for me, that when I started narrowing down and I found Wiseall and found that mission that Karen has with the products, it was amazing. And then just to have these to add to the collection of the paint, 0 VOC paints, and all the things is incredible. And still be able to do this. Bam! In case you missed it, this was just our finishing cleaner in steel wool. Yeah, so anyways, that's gonna be it for tonight. You know, I'll get off my soapbox. So, but please don't use oven cleaner. Find something safe. You know, take care of your health and still have fun doing whatever it is you're doing with furniture. If you have any questions concerning the finishing cleaner or the stripper, just put them in the comments. As always, you can find me on Refurbished Gentleman Daily, doing projects, doing things, all things Wiseall, and you can find me over there if you have any other questions as well. Yeah, I've seen a ton scroll by, a ton. So I'm sure there's lots of questions. So I'm gonna get off and go check the questions because I just doing it on the phone and here is kind of wonky, and I want to make sure people that want to get off and go spend the rest of the night with their family could do that. But I will answer the questions. I'll hop back on. It might say Wise-Owl Paint, but it'll probably be me answer your questions for you. And again, daily you can find me over on Refurbished Gentleman for any additional questions you might have out beyond these things that are Wise-Owl Paint related. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that educational more than anything, because sometimes you just don't know the products are there until you know. And once you know, you're like, oh, I think I need to use that instead of what I've been doing. All right, so hopefully it's helpful. And that's gonna be it for tonight. If you have anything you wanna see that's within our Wise-Owl Paint family of products for me to do next Thursday or any other Thursday, because I'm on here every Thursday at 7:30, please leave those in the comments as well. I hope everybody has a blessed night, and as always, happy painting. And there you have it, a really good, really safe, clean, green, biodegradable, all the fun things that actually works. That's why I wanted to do that live. I wanted to be able to share not only that it's a safe product, but that it actually works, especially with a stripper. Some of the green strippers that are out there, just, you know, they're safer to use, but aren't quite powerful enough to really truly utilize within your furniture refinishing business. So I wanted to share that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, and drop down in the comments other lives that you'd like to see. I'm pulling over the lives from Facebook, so you have them here on YouTube to grab, flip through, do all the things that you'd want to do on YouTube. So hopefully this has been helpful. Again, if it has, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and you can find all the products that were used in the video description below. I hope everybody has a blessed day, and as always, happy painting.